First of all, I'm extremely grateful for my position right now in life. I'm so excited by my journey through life. Life has been one hell of a ride. It's been interesting, it's been complex, it's been joyous, it's been stressful, it's been beautiful. It's been all of those things all at once at the same time at some points in my life, and I'm grateful nonetheless. There is a certain level of excellence that I like to maintain regardless of what I'm doing, whether it's working on a client's work or doing something in my personal life. I've always been somewhat of an overachiever right from when I was young. It's something that I don't want to say I was born with it, but my parents definitely noticed it from quite an early age. I would skip meals so I could do my homework. I would spend so long working on a really complex problem until I get it. Kind of fast forwarding on to my adult life, it's played out. It's played out in so many different ways. It's played out in my academic journey. For context, I wanted to be a doctor, so I guess as a default, I kind of had to study hard anyway. Ended up not becoming a doctor, and I became a software engineer for a period in my life. And kind of just seeing how my eagerness to succeed played out in my academic career was beautiful, because I worked so hard to get good grades and get into good schools so I could go on and have a brighter future. Now I am more of a entrepreneur than someone who works a job. Let me explain. I've always wanted to make an impact. That's always been my thing. It's never been about making lots of money or wearing the fanciest things or living the most cushy life. Though those things are nice, those things were never really my goal. I'm lucky and glad that I had a pretty decent upbringing in terms of my family were doing okay. We weren't the richest, we weren't the poorest, we were doing all right. So I never really lacked as such. I did have a period in my life when I went to university, and I took a year out to do a placement at a really good company, and when I came back to university, I had burnt all the money I had been getting from that job just because the city I was living in was super duper expensive. And so when I came back to university, it was difficult for me to find my feet because I had burnt through my savings and I needed cash to survive. I was in a new city, or back at the city of my university, and I didn't have any cash. And that was a very telling moment in my life, because that was the first time, I guess, I understood what it felt like to lack when it comes to monetary things, when it comes to finances. That was my moment of, dang, like I never want to be in this position ever again. Like I never want to be in a place where I can't pay my rent or I can't buy food because I don't have money. So from that period in my life, I kind of made a vow to myself that I was never going to allow myself to get back into that position. And touch wood, I've been good since then. I definitely have a high affinity for excellence. It shows up in so many areas of my life, especially now that I run a few businesses, and just seeing how diligent I am with those companies and watching myself from the outside looking in always melts my heart, because I don't think I quite realize how hard I work until I kind of take a step back and I'm like, whoa, how did you do all of this by yourself? Or someone that's close to me comes and they tell me, Poetic, bro, you are working, you are doing the most right now. Like, how can only you be doing A, B, and C things? And when I hear things like that, I don't quite know how to feel. One, because for me, it doesn't feel like hard work. It just feels like what I'm supposed to do. I feel extremely lucky in the sense that when I work really hard, I don't necessarily feel like I'm working really hard. It just feels like the natural thing to do, which is, I guess, rare because not a lot of people, even around me, are able to do that. And I don't know. I'm happy with my growth, but then I always feel like, oh, I should be doing more. But with that being said, there was a moment in my life where I felt like I wasn't moving fast enough. Like I felt I wanted to do so many things, but there just isn't enough time. But now where I am in life, I do feel like I'm going at a good pace. Like I am executing on ideas quicker. I'm able to fail fast, and I'm able to then make progress and iterations based on the things that I have learned from those failures. So I'm quite content right now. I still have big goals and big dreams. I do it scared. I do it worried. I do it tired. And I definitely try to be excellent at everything that I do. It's not easy, it never is, but it's worth it. It's worth it. For me at least, I can definitely see the reward and the benefit of hard work and the benefit of being excellent at what you're doing. I work alone a lot of the time, and the reason that is because when I first got into business or got into entrepreneurship, I started to notice that the most common reasons why people weren't executing on the ideas that they had was because they were always waiting on other people to do certain things. And that wasn't going to be my story. I was so determined to do it regardless of if I had the support or if I had the resources or if I had the people or the community out there that were going to back it. One thing that I do know now, after doing a lot of things myself, is that you can not necessarily only go so far by yourself, but there is going to come a time, especially when you want to grow, when you want to expand, where you will need the support of a community of people or even just one person. And finding someone or a community that you can trust with your vision isn't easy. Sometimes it might look like someone's really there for you, or someone really has your back, or someone is really riding and dying for you. But when it comes down to it, they're nowhere to be found. So I'm always on the lookout for people with big promises and no results, because they can really set you back. But with that being said, it's always nice to have a community of people that support you regardless of whatever it is you want to do. Yes, working alone will take you far, but I'm learning that you do need a community of people to do things. Take myself, for example. I've opened quite a few studio spaces, and one thing that I wasn't prepared for when I first started was how much renovation was required for you to actually make a space a home, to make a space comfortable enough for people to actually come in and execute things. What that meant was I had to rely on a lot of people. Shout out to my dad, because he came in and did a lot of the heavy lifting, which was helpful for me because I'm just a girl. So it's always nice to have people who can help you physically, not just even physically, but mentally, emotionally. They're friends who have been there for me when things just weren't going right. You know, just having someone you can call and be like, oh, this thing is not going so well, or this is what I'm struggling with, is so helpful, because when you start to bottle up a lot of things, a lot of feelings and emotions, you start to just resent, let me get notifications. You start to just resent the journey, and the journey is really what prepares you for where you're supposed to go next. All right, that's it. It's Poetic Sparkles. I hope this has been insightful for you. If it has, then please subscribe. Thanks. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I share a different kind of conversation on there, which you might find enjoyable. But yeah, subscribe. Thanks.